There we go. You know, I went through all those checkups, and the one that I needed to, that's the one I didn't decide to check. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Thursday show that we run here on the Paper Dungeon Table Scraps. This is a show that we do about the show that we run on Mondays. Hello, Handskate. Thank you for being here. So prompt today. But this is a show on Thursdays that we talk about the show on Mondays. We play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's a good game. It's on Monday at 7 p.m. CST. Sup, Maz? Two just absolute, just real G's in the chat here today. Let's see. Oh, geez. I don't have a co-host today. I'm sure that you noticed. Drew might show up a little bit later, but who knows if we'll even be going on that long. Because let me tell you, I could use a nap. I've got homework to do. Had a stressful morning. I don't even know how much we have to talk about. But of course, we have our obligatory plugs that I have to run at the start of the stream. So bear with me. I just got so distracted. I have like an internet tab open on the screen to the right of me, and all I see is scientists confirm meteor will hit the Earth, and I'm like, that fits today. But yeah, so first off, if you enjoy our content and you want to see more of it, we have social medias: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. They're out there, they're doing stuff, they're doing things, some of them more than others. So check those out, they're awesome. If you want to get some merch or something like that, we have a website, www.thepaperdungeon.com, where we have a merch store. You can buy stuff like shirts and stuff, and like coffee mugs. I think we still have like masks and things on there. I'm not entirely sure, but check that out. Speaking of merch stores, our wonderful cast member Lydia Corinne also does sell merch with her art. If you want an example of what her art is, anything that you see on screen that is not a live camera, she does all of our overlays, she does all of our character art. Lydia is an incredible artist, and you can buy her pre-made art or commission her on her store, so you should do that. If you want to give money to the Paper Dungeon for any particular reason, we have a Streamlab donation, we have Patreon, we have Ko-Fi. Speaking of that Patreon, we'll have a new little mini one-shot that we did real soon. So keep an eye out on there for the Patreon and stuff. If you want access to that Patreon, you can do that. Some of it will be released to subscribers. And you will do that through joining our Discord. Our Discord is really awesome. You can talk to Handskate and Maz, who are in the chat right now. You can talk with the rest of the group. We're on there pretty often. We check it every day. Well, some of us do. And every day, I'm so thankful for the people that show up and just say good morning. You know, it's a nice, it's a very wholesome feeling every morning. Where I'm like, oh man, I just had to deal with an art class, and then I open Discord, and it's like, good morning. I'm like, oh, not everyone is the worst. That's nice. But yeah, so check out our Discord. I think that's all the plugs that I super have for that. So this past Monday, as usual, we played a main campaign episode in the world of Nico Muris. I thought it was a very entertaining episode for sure. Let's see if I can even remember what happened. All I know is that plot-wise, we've been attempting to get back a super powerful weapon that'll help Renaya kill her greatest enemy at the moment, aka Baphomet, one of the head demon lords, who currently has like possession over her soul and person. So we do that. We got that dagger back. We head back to the material plane. We're chilling at the Fates or the Gambit's Keep, which I want everyone to know. All of my fellow cast members were like, "Geez, Aaron, building a house, that seems dumb. We're never gonna spend any time there, and it will never be important or relevant to the plot." We have spent like 70% of the current chapter in Gambit's Keep, and it is very satisfying for me. Sup, Maz? Glad to have you fully here. So we head back to Gambit's Keep. Everything's great. The first thing that we do is head to the sauna, which is, so Grant and I talk about it all the time. That this is just our natural state as Dungeons and Dragons players. It's like, it's time to go to the sauna. And so I've fleshed out what exactly is in our sauna, who mans it. It's manned by a masseuse named Ricardo, I believe. Because Fernando is the, oh shoot, I don't even remember my notes. We have a chef and a masseuse, and one of them is Fernando and one of them is Ricardo. Hello! Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you again. I'm really bummed to hear that you've been sick, Maz. But yeah, so we head to the sauna. It's the boys. Cather, Abinthy, and Edward head to the sauna because Renaya didn't want to be hanging out in the sauna with us. Lame. And we have a bit of a relationship talk. We talk about Edward's past relationships, kind of what he's looking forward to, if he has any that are like on the back burner, like what's going on in Edward's love life. We also talk about Cather's love life, and it's revealed that he is currently dating the god of war and life, Atrasil. Got it. Figured it out. Atrasil, which I was so glad that it was taken so well by the chat. When Cather was like, yes, I'm currently dating the god Atrasil, immediately my character Apathy exclaims, "That prude!" And it was taken very well. So I'm glad that people found it funny. But yeah, so currently the only one not dating someone not from this plane is Edward. So we really need to get to work on that. Next episode, make sure to spam let's see, what was it, get Edward a Fey GF, I think it was. Yep, gotta get Edward a Fey GF, that's the one. So that way we just cover the whole spectrum of extraplanar lovers. We've got demons, devils, gods, Fey. Gotta get there. And currently Edward is letting us down. But we finish up our talk in the sauna. We eventually head to the bar, so that way Renaya can join us. And Abinthy gets to talk a little bit about his relationship with Glossia, which I just like doing, so I wanted to. So that was fun. And then I managed to slip in just a banger line that I knew that Drew would catch. Because Abinthy had mentioned that Renaya's relationship with Grotz gave himself a lot of hope for his relationship with Glossia. And then he said the words, and I knew that it was going to be good when I was given the opportunity. I hope it may be a blind hope, but I pray it's not a foolish one. And which is the exact thing that Cather said to, well, it's close. It's like an exact parody of what, yo, what's up, Drew? This is who I said the line to. But it's what Cather said to Havel standing on the cliff. As Havel was like, you and your love for the gods will only get you killed. And then Cather was like, yeah, well, it may be a blind faith, but it's not a foolish one. And then Havel died. And, of course, Cather felt guilty about it. And so now I just get to plunge the knife deeper into Drew's heart and just throw turmoil into his entire existence, which was an absolute blast. So then Cather stands dramatically and storms out of the bar. A dark, like, edge Cather is truly a mood. Like, if I had to give it a word, like, edgy Cather is an icon, dude. Like, I feel like it's really what this stream has been missing. So Cather goes to the beach. Renaya follows after him. Edward and Abinthy are just like chilling. Um, Renaya and Cather are down at the beach. Renaya says some very encouraging words. And then the biggest plot twist of the episode. A figure is standing on the cliff approaching Gambit's Keep. And we're like, oh my goodness, who is it? The cast was onto it immediately. And as they look up towards the cliffside, big spoiler ahead, everybody, so if you're not ready for it, you better just tune out for a little bit. Standing there in all of his buff glory is the only Cather ship that I will accept. Kiamora from season 1, the hot, steaming exercise elf that he's like a nature elf, like a animal elf. I don't even remember. Horned elf, that's what they're called. Standing there, antlers straight up just glistening in the ocean wind. Everyone flips out, and he gets introduced to the whole group and everything. We make some funny jokes where Abinthy's like, all right, time to defend the castle. And Edward's like, all right, time to defend the castle. And then Edward realizes that it's Kiamora. He's like, oh my god, it's Kiamora. And Abinthy's like, so is this not a person I should kill? Because unlike everyone else, Abinthy doesn't know this person. It's just some random guy who showed up out of nowhere looking all cute. And Abinthy's like, I don't think I can trust that. But we get into the keep. We take a rest. Some of us take a rest. Abinthy is unable to sleep. And we learn that the reason that Kiamora disappeared and what he's done now, and like the whole reason he's back, is that he has been working with Adelar Crave, a wizard that we experienced a little bit of conversation with, because he was the one who got us to Sigil. It's called Sigil. He's the one that got us to Sigil, and there's some tension between not exactly him, but something around the Wisteria Vale and Abinthy and stuff like that. And Wisteria Vale as a whole is actually from a little side one-shot that I ran on one of the days we couldn't run the main campaign, which is super cool to see that it's become such a part of the story for me. But he's been working with Adelar Crave in an attempt to resurrect previous cast member character Melora, a very important character who may or may not have had a bit of a steamy relationship with Cather, but unfortunately died at the hands of an Arc Fae that held dominion over her soul. And obviously at the level that we were at, we couldn't like revive her or anything, and the whole soul situation is weird. So Kiamora has been working to resurrect Melora from the dead. And apparently they have finalized their understanding of the magic and stuff, and have it all figured out, and they have all the machines and ritual stuff, and you know where it's gotta be. They've got the soul, blah 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 blah. We have inadvertently been helping them, which is hilarious. Like, we got Adelar Crave the soul like cage that he needs for the spell. We the dragon that we talked to in season 1 is where Kiamora got the like scroll necessary to get Melora's soul back from the Arc Fae that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, and then just a whole bunch of other things that we've inadvertently done that has been like, oh shoot, that's what that was for. We come to a bold agreement where I feel like I didn't get across Abinthy's perception of it quite as well, which is Abinthy is very excited for this. Abinthy's like, oh heck yeah, this is some cool magic stuff. Abinthy is also fully aware that cool magic stuff almost always ends up in horrible tragedy. So he's like, half of me, actually, like a strong 90% of Abinthy is like, heck yeah, let's do some magic that's never been done before. 10% of Abinthy is like, I need to be ready to kill whatever happens because of this magic that no one's done before. The rest of the group, not exactly as straightforward, a bit more on the fence than Abinthy, because like Abinthy doesn't know who Melora is. He's never met her. He just hears cool magic and he's in. Everyone else is like, maybe it would be better to leave her soul at rest, and or maybe we shouldn't do this. I feel like it's morally wrong to do this thing. They have like moral quandaries. Thank goodness they do. But eventually they come to the decision that yes, at minimum they should be there because they aren't going to stop Kiamura. So they agree. All right, here we go. Let's do some magic stuff. We head to where Adelar Crave is. We do the teleportation circle and stuff. We head to Wisteria Vale. We actually meet the person Wisteria Vale, who is somehow still alive. She's like hundreds to thousands of years old, but isn't undead and isn't a celestial and isn't a fiend. So she's either a fae or using a spell to cloak the fact that she's one of those creature types, which I'm not sure which one is more likely. I would not at all be surprised if Wisteria Vale was secretly Jestari, I remember the name of the Archfey that stole Melora's soul. But like, could you imagine if it's like we resurrect Melora and then Wisteria Vale just does a Scooby-Doo reveal and like takes off a mask? She's like, nah, it was Jestari the whole time. And we're like, God dang it. Never trust old people. That's the one lesson we can take away from our main campaign, is never trust the elderly. Just don't do it. It's how people get kidnapped, people die. The elderly are not okay. Oh no, Maz, you forgot your coffee. Run, Maz. Hike up the robes that the Wizard of the Coast wears everywhere and go get your coffee. But yeah, we find Adelar Crave. It may have been the highest roll of the campaign, with the assistance of Renaya and Edward, with Renaya granting advantage, guidance, and then Edward granting some bardic inspiration. Abinthy hits a 40 on an Arcana check to go over all of the magic, like, ritual stuff, and finds a very small, very probably unimportant mistake that Deidre was like, I mean, he got a 40. He should find something. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. We head to the temple, but we do not start the ritual. Abinthy gets ready to interfere, whatever that means. I have several thoughts, as for the potential ways that Abinthy may try to interfere in this ritual. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it just goes great. Like, it's just like we do the ritual and then Melora shows up and she's like, oh, thank you for saving me, Cather. And, oh, you didn't I fish about me being dead? And stuff like that. And we're like, what about Brad? And she's like, no, dead, not dead. Maz, your chat conversation is top tier. Handskate, you see, that's the thing. They don't think about actually having to manually wash their clothes. Most of the time, it's just prestidigitation. So like the moment that they don't have access to that, it's like, oh man, how do you even wash these? But yeah, I would love if the I need to pitch the voice down so that way it's not because, oh, hoity-toity me pot of gold. That's Cather. Melora was, first of all, Scottish, which I can't do because it's like, It's like if you had never heard Irish, so it's just that different. Um, but I'm not gonna give that a shot. I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm just gonna use my Cather voice for however Melora speaks. But yeah, I would love if Melora was just back and there was zero consequences for our actions. That would be ideal. That would be pretty good. I think that would be a net positive. I would love to. I can't. I refuse. I'm not gonna do it. In some ways, I find it more entertaining the fact that I don't know how accents sound some of the time. I think that's great. But a while, like a year or so back, Helen and I did have a very good conversation about just in general how the Scottish like language works. And yes, I do think in my head, Cather is just the body of Henry Cavill, the head of Elrond, painted blue, and he sounds like the Lucky Charms guy. That's Cather in my mind. So yeah, you're right on the money there, Handscape. But yeah, so next episode we're gonna try to revive Melora, and nothing will go wrong, and then we'll go home and then kill Baphomet. I can only assume that's the next step. But oh my goodness, I'm tired today. Apathy may have some plans depending on the success of this. Thank you for the subscription, Weepies. Oh god, I just absolutely lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, Apathy does have some Oh, congratulations on being caught up. Yeah, you had mentioned that before. I was trying to remember. I'm like, I feel like I already knew this. But yeah, congratulations for hanging out for the spoilers and everything. Thank you for putting in the effort to catch up. That is a big ask. Like, we've been going for a while. But yeah, it's gonna be a thing. Apathy has some plans. If this works out really well, I mean, heck, that provides a lot of potential for Apathy, who has been limited by his class in some regards. But if this is doable, Apathy's gonna be doing some plotting. Look, it would have taken me years to catch up, so don't be like it took me a whole summer. I just never would catch up. I would just skip to wherever they are. I'm too weak-willed. I don't have the gosh dang patience for that. This is completely off topic, but for some reason I was just absolutely reminded of it. Hey Maz, we should totally play Overwatch 2 sometime. You can carry me to victory with your PC skills. But yo, oh yeah, that's another thing, Maz. Both of us are like 3 weeks away from graduating college, and then the gosh dang the things that I'll be able to do when I have time on my hands. Maz, the supports are the ones who carry us. Always. It may look like the DPS, but no. We know that beneath them, it's like you look at the pillars of a house and you say, yes, those support beams, that's what carries. What you aren't looking at is the cement foundation. And okay, and Brig is basically a DPS. Maz, you're like, oh, it plays up for it. Like if you were Mercy or something who like doesn't deal damage, then you have an excuse. Brig is just a DPS that heals sometimes. Brig is like Reinhardt New Game Plus. Sorry for getting a little off topic there. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 lately, and I noticed that Maz was streaming it a while ago. It would be I know that she has a passive that heals her. I'm just saying you need to beat people up to cause it to work. That sounds like a DPS to me. But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. I would love to play some Overwatch with you. You can experience the highs and lows. So for those of you who don't know, my capability and everything that I do fluctuates drastically. It is bad. For example, while playing Overwatch 2, I recently, a couple of days ago, played some games. My average accuracy, like, was around 16 to 20% accuracy. All right. I have images on my phone that I've saved because I worry that people will not believe me, of me having 50% accuracy and dealing over 25,000 damage in a game. There is such a wide range of skill that I have that it just sucks most of the time. Yeah, I would love to play some Overwatch, Maz. Well, I used to pretty much be only a support main. I actually used to main Ana, but I got so tired of being absolutely shafted into the support role every single game that I was like, I'll try playing some DPS. So I have recently picked up Bastion as my main DPS because I'm a scumbag and I like Bastion. He's like weird Soldier 76 that's slow and easier to hit. I'm in. So yeah, so I've been playing a lot of DPS recently. I used to be a pretty good tank too. I pretty much, most games I main support roles. So whether it be actual support or tank support, that's what I do. But yeah, I've been picking up some DPS a little recently. Just because, sometimes I get tired of having like 20,000 healing on Ana and like ulting someone and then they get play of the game. And I'm like, it's so hard to get play of the game as Ana. I've gotten it on like most characters except for Ana, who was my main. Anyway, this isn't a talk show about gosh dang Overwatch. We're talking about RPGs and not the like remote guided missiles. Or I don't even know what RPG stands for. Remote something gun. I don't know. We are talking about RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons in specific. I don't have a whole lot of like banter that I can do because I don't have a co-host, but at least to try to stay on the topic of RPGs, I have been looking into, obviously I'm always looking out for other RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons adjacent things, any TT RPG. And recently, rocket propelled grenade, thank you. I'm like, I know that it's like I should know this, and just for the life of me I can't think of what RPG stands for. I'm wondering, I'll have to double check the like rule sets and stuff, and I really need to play some games beforehand. So come January, Maz, and several other people who are in the Discord, because I will be sending out some messages to see if I can get together a test group for some different RPGs and stuff. I really want to test. I showed them off on stream a little while ago, but I got an RPG called Symbaroum or Symbaroum or something like that. Symbaroum. I don't know how it's spelled. Look, Maz, you're the only one that I know for sure not only has said that they are down, but I also have you like on the list of people to ask for stuff. You're literally the only one on the list. I haven't thought anything else beyond you. So you're the only one I can name. But Symbaroum, I'm Symbaroum. Symbaroum sounds like a medicine. I'm gonna call it Symbaroum. So the RPG Symbaroum it's a D20 based system with interesting. So it's a super interesting RPG in general, but instead of using the D20 system like Dungeons and Dragons does, it almost reminds me of like, yes, that's exactly how it's spelled, mass. But I never, I think it's Cymbarum, but that also seems wrong to me. But that's what I'm going to call it because it's easier. So the D20 system actually reminds me a lot of like AD&D first edition, where you almost aim for like negatives and stuff. So let's use for an example, you are aiming to climb a wall, right? It's super weird. Also, the DC, the like difficulty class of like the things you're trying to do are decided on by your stats. So instead of giving a passive bonus to the things that you're doing, you are trying to roll below the number that you have on your character sheet. So like, to put it in Dungeons and Dragons terms, let's say you want to roll a strength check, like to climb a wall. You would look at your strength and see, oh, I have a 17 in strength. So if you roll a 17 or below on your D20, you succeed on the check. Now, things can modify that. So let's say that it's a specific skill. So in this case, it's a strength athletics check. Because you have that, like, an additional number in athletics, you add that number to your strength check, and then that becomes a new number you're aiming for. So let's say that you have like a 2 or something in your athletics. So now you roll 19 and below. But enemies can interfere with that. So if you're attacking an enemy and you roll an attack, you use whatever stat is used for your attack roll. So let's say in this case, once again using Dungeons and Dragons because they have different words than Cymbarum. Strength is your attack modifier. You have a 17 in strength. So you are aiming to hit a 17 in order to successfully attack this person. But their constitution, I think it's called toughness in Cymbarum, is a 17 as well. A 17 will provide a modifier to your roll. So the things that you're aiming for are modified by the enemy's contesting ability. So instead of aiming for a 17, with their toughness, the 17 subtracts like 3 from your like ability that you are using. So it goes from 17 to 14. You have to roll below a 14 or below in order to succeed. It's like funky, but it makes sense like while you're actually doing it. But it reminds me a lot of like THAC0 rules, where it's like, so you have like this certain ability score, so you have to roll a 17 or higher to successfully hit a 0, because THAC0 is 2-hit armor class 0. Where it's like a non-modified armor class. And then depending on the armor class, it increases or decreases. You need to roll higher or lower depending on that. And each character, it's completely different. It's funky. But an interesting way that it works, also, another cool part about it, character creation is not founded on classes. So it feels a lot more like free build, where you are given like a role, but all abilities are available to most roles. So if you want to be a, like, I think the roles are like warrior, mystic, and I can't remember the third one. But if you're a warrior but you still want to use magic, you just spend the points on character creation to gain access to magic. And you can still do that kind of stuff because you have specialties within that character creation. So you pretty much are given the whole book for character creation. Every character will feel different, which I really love, because in 5th edition, sometimes if you build loads of characters, all of them slowly start to feel the same. Like, it's like, oh yeah, here goes another fighter, or another barbarian. It's like, oh, well, it's a different subclass. Well, yeah, but I'm still going to be doing the same thing. Like, if I'm a paladin, I'm still going to spell and then do a thing. That's really interesting, Mess. So, okay, this is also off topic because I'm on Maz's topic. I'm not a movie guy. I think movies are good. Like, I think they're fine. But I don't go to theaters. I don't seek out movies. I don't really watch shows or movies at all. Like, I don't know. It's never been, like, I love animation, so I keep track of animation stuff. But I don't really keep track of movies. Anyway, Symbaroum. They have, like, ritual rules, which are really interesting. Where, like, there are two types of spells. There are, like, normal spells, and then there are rituals. And rituals do super wild, crazy stuff. And I haven't even gotten into the rules deep enough to know how it works. But if the, like, ritual rules work well, there's a good chance that I might, if I can play test it enough and figure it out well enough to succeed. Because it's a bit more complicated than, say, Vysen. Vysen is pretty straightforward. It makes a lot of sense. If I can figure it out well enough, I might use Symbaroum for Between the Rows season 4. Season 4. Just because it might fit the vibe that I want better than Vysen would. Which is a super exciting, to me at least, development. Because I certainly did not expect to be using anything other than Vysen for Between the Rows. But I don't know. Symbaroum, it's a super interesting thing. I really like it. And ooh, it's something. It's I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I've been delving into that book for a while now, and it's pretty sick. I would love to give it a shot. I'm really excited to play test it and stuff. Yeah, so keep an eye out. We might be doing a different RPG for Between the Rows. And Maz, you can, this goes for anyone. You can ask any question in this chat. Obviously use your better judgment to make sure that it's appropriate and I won't have to, like, kick or ban someone. But of course, feel free to ask any questions that you have about Dungeons and Dragons, about RPGs, about the actual show that we run, about the Paper Dungeon, about things in the future that may happen. Ask away. If you have cool homebrew stuff that you're like, hey, I want to know about this, or what do you think about this development? This is an open field. I'm gonna take a drink. Okay. I just had a thing happen to me that's happened many times before. What is the deal with when you take a drink of something and you're expecting to drink something else? Like, have you ever had, like, 2 cups on a table that are, like, covered, and you think that you grabbed yours, so you take a drink, and you had, like, Dr. Pepper in yours, and then you take a drink and it's Mountain Dew, and like, your entire body is thrown into a revolting, like, confusion? What's the deal with that? Like, your brain is like, impossible, something must be wrong with this Dr. Pepper. But it's just not Dr. Pepper. So, let me tell you, Maz. Once we get to season 6 of Between the Rows, I believe that is when we will go to Between the Rows, Darkness Between Stars, which will be a sci-fi version of Between the Rows on a station in space. So yes, I would absolutely do a cyber-themed season. Yes, please. Darkness Between Stars, check it out 2 years from now. I've got thoughts. I've got a lot of thoughts. Honestly, I don't know how long I'll be doing Between the Rows. But I don't know. There's a lot of potential for it, I think, and even just putting in different genres. So this is a big little bit of a look into the future for people. First scene here, and no one can stop me because I'm all alone. This is what happens when my co-hosts are like, nah, I'm sure Aaron's got it. keep an eye out in the future for the Paper Dungeon, because let me tell you, I've got some things planned that are very... Imagine if instead of Firefly being a space western, it was a space fantasy. So, because ooh, I'm very excited for it. Which, to be fair, space fantasy is just Spelljammer. So expect some Spelljammer stuff from Aaron in the future, because I've got some stuff planned. Got a lot of things in the work right now. I'm excited to do it. So yeah, an interesting thing for me, sci-fi has always been it's been like a forbidden fruit for me, because I never really paid a lot of attention to like sci-fi stuff. So it's always kind of fascinated me as like that. Like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, have you ever had something that you're like, I know nothing about this, and because I know nothing about this, it almost makes me more interested in it. I tried to get into a couple of sci-fi things every once in a while. Like I've obviously read some sci-fi. I think the book that really got me though was I attempted to read all of the Dune series, and I had asked some people. This is an emphasis on attempted. I asked some people, hey, what order should I read the Dune books in? They're like, here you go. And so they gave it to me chronologically. Which, okay, deal. I don't think that's a bad way to read the Dune books. I haven't read them all. Maybe it's the best way to read the Dune books. But I started off at the, obviously, like the first chronological Dune book. And there was one scene in it that stuck with me more. I basically don't remember any of the book except for one scene that was more like something about it was like actual horror to me. Like I wish to emulate that feeling whenever I do like Between the Rows, and I have not succeeded to this day. So in the first Dune book, chronologically, I don't even remember what the name of it is. There's a scene where the like cyber mind, the like hyper intelligent AI people, like robots, on their planet, they had captured like a higher up on the human delegation, and she was imprisoned and stuff. It turned out that she was like pregnant with the general's kid, and blah 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 blah. She has the kid while on the robot world, and she's taking care of it. And she is being supervised and watched over by a robot that they believe had reached like enlightenment, who they believe to be the closest thing to understanding human irrationality, because he had like fallen into disrepair and then got stuck in a crevice of a planet for like 500 years, and then became self-aware and stuff like that. And so this robot, who was the only thing close to it, is he's just irrationally cruel. Like he's like trying to understand how humanity functions, because right now the only advantage that humans have over the robots is they're like unpredictable. The robots are like, yes, this would be the logical thing to do here. Then humans are like, what if we just threw a bunch of banana peels over the place? And the robots are like, what? That very well may be the case, Hansgate. I read this like 5 years ago. But the robot is so confused because he knows that this captive is in a very negative circumstance. Like, she's been kidnapped, she's a prisoner of war, like everything is terrible, it sucks. But when she's with this kid, she like smiles and is happy, and she's like playing with her son and all that stuff. It's like her source of joy, and it just doesn't compute with this robot. And so in order to try to understand where her sense of joy comes from, he like knocks her out, like basically surgically, like, this is pretty gross. So if you're not into gross stuff, tune out. But like surgically spays her while she's unconscious, and then when she wakes up, she's like, "What did you just do?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm trying to figure out if your happiness stems from a biological response." Like it's so devoid of humanity. It's like the response is so cold that it's like it like shocked me as I was reading the book. Like a robot that they believe this is what they honestly think humanity is like, and he is so far away from anywhere near what a human actually thinks or feels that he would not only do that but then also respond in the way that he did. It like blew my mind. Like it made me like physically upset. Like the core of my being was like, that's really disturbing and horrific. And like more than any horror movie I've ever seen before. It was brutal. And then like she freaks out on this machine. And then he like throws her son off of the balcony. Because he's like he's still so upset that she still finds joy, because it's not like a physical biological response. And then the death of her son kicks off a human revolution, and then they like they just beat up the robots. And so it's, first of all, I'm sure that the Dune series is very good. I could only make it through like the first and a half books. I just got bored, I guess, but I also probably didn't start at the best possible location. But that scene alone is the only thing I remember from the first book, and it is like a founding ideal of like the amount of disturbing that I would love to get to. It is like incredibly well written, because it's really hard to write something that is not human and make it feel that way. Yeah. I'm like reading this and I'm like, I know a little bit about Dune, and I'm pretty sure that none of this is what people say that they like about Dune. Like, the only thing that I know about Dune before I read these books was in the original Dune movies, there was, oh shoot, was it Slash? There was a pro wrestler, and he just had a very exotic cod piece. And that's the entirety of what I know about Dune. But yeah, like, oh man, if you want to read something disturbing, check out the first chronological Dune book, because oof, that character alone saved the books for me. Like the robot who the robots believed represents humanity in its like purest form, the closest that a robot can get to understanding humans. Super wild, super absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's really hard from a like story maker point of view to write a character that doesn't think as a human would think, because I am human. So like you can't even have them do the opposite of things that humans would do, because that's such a human idea of what not being human is. It's a very thin line that was very masterfully written in that Dune book, and I don't think I found as good of an example of it yet. And let me tell you, I haven't been able to create a character like that. That is beyond my skill set. But yeah, I feel like there was some other question that was asked, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I would love to do more sci-fi stuff. I actually have a sci-fi RPG that is another one of the ones that I want to be testing as well, because it also looks pretty interesting. It's a little less, I don't know, I think it's less my style of RPG. I think the content in it is good, but I'm not sure about the actual system. Seems a little bit off from what I like. Huh. What else to talk about? To be fair, we've been going for almost an hour, which is, in a way, longer than I expected us to go. Does anyone have any other questions, ideas, topics that they want to talk about? Handscape, Maz? Anyone else? There's a whole, like, 6 of y'all in here or something, so plenty of people to ask away. The real problem is we're missing Eye Candy Drew, so I don't know what else to say. That's a definite drop in our in our communication. I'm coming up dry. I'm running out of stuff. There's a strong chance that if I don't see anything update in the next, let's say, 20 to 30 seconds, that I might just end the stream. That's a threat. It's a threat right there. Any RPGs like Call of Cthulhu? No, because I don't own it and I don't have any people that play Call of Cthulhu, but I would love to. I love Eldritch horror stuff, that like mystery solving aspect of Call of Cthulhu. One of the best RPGs I've ever seen that does like a mystery version of like RPG. I have a friend of mine that plays Delta Green, which is another very similar, like very mystery focused, Eldritch horror focused, that all I know is that at one point in time they bought a like one of those, oh geez, what's the name of it? The like neon, oh shoot, the neon like store signs that for the life of me I can't remember the name of, but he just got one in the image of the yellow sign to use as a prop for his Delta Green game, where he was like, yes, you walk into a dark alley following the trail of this so-and-so, and then the neon light flashes on the building across from you. It's a nightclub that like has this name, and then it flashes and it's the yellow sign. So like if you know your Eldritch horror, you're like, oh shoot, and you could just turn it on in real life. Turns out they're very expensive to get a custom neon like glass tubed sign. But yeah, I would love to play Call of Cthulhu. Let me tell you, Handskate, if you ever want someone to hop into a Call of Cthulhu game, put me in, because I would love to try it. Alrighty, I know that it's a short stream, but I also like to try to create some form of I like to create some form of content that is at least a little enjoyable. And if I don't have anything to talk about, I don't know if I would necessarily say that it is. So thank you, everyone who stopped by today. You see, it was enjoyable for the hour. It's gonna have a severe drop off for the next hour if I don't have to hear him as. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I did have a very good time, even though it was a shorter time. I feel like we covered a lot of enjoyable topics and stuff like that. Obviously, we had our plugs, but those were only like an hour ago, so I don't think I really need to do those again, right? Because, I'm getting lazier the longer I do Table Scraps. I'm just like, man, the plugs. Yeah, social medias, Discord, website, check out our YouTube. Shout out to those of you on YouTube and podcast. Check out Lydia's website. We also have Streamlabs donations, Patreon, and Ko-Fi. So check those out. We'll have Patreon content up soon. So for those of you who are our patrons, our patroneers, keep an eye out, because something's getting uploaded in like at minimum a week or so. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, pretty sure that I think that the plugs through the screen have stopped. So thank everyone for, hey, Handskate, I don't even think that we normally use the YouTube tag during our main streams. That's a Maz thing. So don't feel bad about that one. The only thing that I have left to say to all of you today is good luck and Godspeed, everyone. I will see you next week, Dungeoneers. Check us out on Monday at 7 p.m. CST. It's going to be a good one. We're going to resurrect Melora, and she's going to be all Scottish. And you know, hey, Maz, might be down, like, today to play Overwatch 2. So you just keep an eye out. Or message me, whatever you want. Goodbye, everyone. We will see you next time. Goodbye.